Install Fedora on a Raspberry Pi 3. Posted by Nick Hardiman on August 7, 2020. Recent posts. Incremental backup with Butterfly Backup. Web of Trust, Part 2, Tutorial. Systemd Resolved, Introduction to Split DNS. Fire up a Raspberry Pi with Fedora. The Raspberry Pi Foundation has produced quite a few models over the years. This procedure was tested on third-generation piece, a Model B v1.2, and a Model B+, the older 2, and the new 4 weren't tested. These are the credit card size piece that have been around a few years. Get hardware. You do need a few hardware items, including the Pi. You don't need any hardware attached on top, boards or USB antennas. If you have used your Pi in the past, you probably have all these items. Current network. Perhaps this is your home lab. Ethernet cable. This connects the current network to the Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi 3, Model B or B+. Power supply. MicroSD card, 8 GB or larger. Keyboard and video monitor. The keyboard and video monitor together make up the local console. It's possible, though complicated, to get by without a console, such as setting up an automated install then connecting over the network. A local console makes it easy to answer the configuration questions during Fedora's first boot. Also, a mistake during AP configuration may break the network, locking out remote users. Download Fedora Minimal. Find Fedora's alternate architecture images. Download the ARM-registered Arch64 architecture image. The Fedora Minimal image, one of Fedora's alt downloads, has all the core packages and network packages required. Well, nearly. Check out Nsmask below. The image contains a ready-made file system, with over 400 packages already installed. This minimal image does not include popular packages like a development environment, internet service or desktop. These types of software aren't required for this work, and may well use too much memory if you install them. The Fedora Minimal raw image fits on a small SD card and runs in less than 1 GB of memory. These old pieces have 1 GB RAM. The name of the downloaded file is something like Fedora Minimal 32-1.6.arch64.raw.xz. The file is compressed and is about 700 megabytes in size. When the file is uncompressed, it's 5 gigabytes. It's an ext4 file system that's mostly empty. About 1 gigabyte is used and 4 gigabytes is empty. All that empty space is the reason the compressed download is so much smaller than the uncompressed raw image. Copy to the microSD card. Copy the image to a microSD card. This can be a more complex than it sounds, and a painful experience. Finding a good microSD card takes work. Then there's the challenge of physically attaching the card to your computer. Perhaps your laptop has a full SD card slot, and you need a card adapter, or perhaps you need a USB adapter. Then, when it comes to copying, the OS may either help or get in your way. You may have luck with Fedora Media Writer, or with these Linux commands. uncs/Fedora Minimal 32-1.6.arch64.raw.xzdd if equals /Fedora Minimal 32-1.6.arch64.raw of equals /dev/mmcblk0bs equals 8m status equals progress off log equals direct. Set up Fedora. Connect the Pi, power cable, network cable and microSD card. Hit the power. See the colored box as the graphics chip powers up. Wait for the Anaconda installer to start. Answer Anaconda's setup questions. Initial configuration of the OS takes a few minutes, a couple minutes waiting for boot up, and a couple to fill out the spokes of Anaconda's text-based installer. In the examples below, the user is named Nick and is an administrator, a member of the wheel group. Congratulations! Your Fedora Pi is up and operational. Update software. Update packages with DNF update. Reboot the machine with systemtl reboot. Over the years, a lot of people have put a lot of work into making the Raspberry Pi devices work. Use the latest software to make sure you get the benefit of their hard work. If you skip this step, you may find some things just don't work. The update downloads and installs about 100 packages. Since the storage is a microSD card, writing new software is a slow process. This is what using computing storage felt like in the 1990s. Things to play with. There are a few other things that can be set up at this point, if you want to play around. It's all optional. Try things like this. Replace the localhost hostname with the command sudo hostname set hostname raspi. Find the IP address with IP address. Try an SSH login, or even set up key-based login with SSH copy ID. Power down with systemtl power off. Like this. FAQs and guides for developers for system administrators using hardware Arch64 Fedora on Pinstall Raspberry Pi. Nick Hardiman. 30 comments. Shy. Hi world. Does anyone have any hands-on experience with running Fedora on R181T90, R181T92, R281T91, or R281T94, or other Marvel Thunder X2 servers, and would like to share their impressions, insights etc. please? Thank you. August 7th, 2020. Elrence Aldridge. Yes, but as a newbie, and of course finding this article via Google News, what are the advantages of Fedora on a Raspberry Pi over Raspbian? August 7th, 2020. Stephen. The advantage is you would have Fedora the best distro on your RPI. August 8th, 2020. Elrence Aldridge. Thanks for your reply, Stephen. It's an understandable position, given the blog is titled Fedora Magazine. I guess the question now is why do people consider Fedora the best distro? Background: I don't have much exposure to different distros. I have entered via the world of Raspberry Pi. August 8th, 2020. Stephen Snow. Well, in truth, if you read other comments around here on the topic of RPI and Fedora, you can tell Fedora isn't the first choice by many for an installation on a Raspberry Pi. Fedora is, however, the best Linux distribution IMO, and a lot of my reason is coming from their stance on FOSS, and their dogged support of it. Also, I like their near bleeding edge focus on the Linux ecosystem, and release cadence. The four foundational core values of Fedora are freedom, friends, features. First, this is at the core of the community, and the distribution. August 9th, 2020. Fedora_USR. Because it is the best slightly smiling face. August 10th, 2020. Versace. It's true, I love Fedora slightly smiling face, but Fedora on Raspberry Pi is a failure. SD card slot is too slow. You can run Fedora on an external SSD via USB 3.0 to make it run much faster, but you still don't have the options you expect from a Raspberry Pi. August 9th, 2020. Doug. Yeah, Fedora 32 server uses the XFS file system on an SD card, which is just a performance disaster, and needs to be fixed. August 9th, 2020. Edwin Buck. I find the consistency of RPM packaging to be the best real advantage. At work, we already have the infrastructure set up for RPM builds and deployments. Adding ARM to it is easy due to the tooling we can borrow from Fedora. As there is no need to describe a hybrid packaging and release system, it cuts down on training, documentation, and effort of debugging when things go wrong. August 10, 2020. Phoenix. When it comes to the Raspberry Pi, I am mostly interested if the GPIO would work. The last time I checked, the binary was only readily available within its Debian derivative OS. Is the command PIO available now? Or was it already available longer, and I simply did not find the right package/repo? August 7, 2020. Emlyn. Not work as is the Vegencomd. August 8, 2020. Book War. Standard libraries used on Raspbian most likely won't work, because they hardcode Raspbian configuration in their system-level functions. New library. libpyod. Will work as it uses standard API of the vanilla kernel. It is packaged for Fedora, and can be used as CLI tool or via Python bindings. C. DNF search libpyod. I also wrote a simple Python library, https://github.com/bookwar/python-gpio-dev, to operate GPIO pins via kernel API. Haven't packaged it for Fedora yet, but I will someday. August 10, 2020. Edwin Buck. I had success getting the GPIO pins to work with a Raspberry Pi 2B running Fedora. It wasn't as simple as it could have been, but if you can open up the source for the library you'll have to install manually, as well as the source for the kernel drivers, at least for that hardware and set of code, I managed to individually light 16 LEDs. Of course, it involved a bit of programming, and wasn't quite as simple as I believed it should have been. August 10, 2020. Stephen. I thought, and this is going back a bit, that there was a Python library for that, which is usable in Fedora too. PHP lib https://github.com/piphp/gpio python lib https://how-to-get-hyphen-to-hyphen-get-hyphen-started-with-hyphen-the-hyphen-raspberry-pi-python-library, or how to with C. https://www.digiki.com/and/maker/blogs/2019/how-to-use-/gpio-on-with-C. August 8, 2020. Emlyn. Not work on 64-bit. August 9, 2020. Pat. When it boots up it asks if you can't to continue quit or refresh. So I press C to continue, and then it asks for a localhost username and password. Anyone know what it is? August 9, 2020. Gerald. Is YouTube and other HD video play fine in this Fedora version? I flashed Android in Raspberry Pi 3B. When I play video CPU usage raises high because of software rendering. And video struck in middle. August 9, 2020. Emlyn. GPIO is supported with the use of libpyod and associated bindings and utilities. RPI.GPIO is not currently supported. August 9, 2020. Stephen Snow. Wouldn't you just use pip install rpi.gpio, or some such? I'm not a Python programmer so I am just asking, but that was my impression on how you went about doing it. August 9, 2020. Emlyn. I am a Fedora's fan. So I tried off course. I'll repeat again it not work on 64-bit, 100%. August 9, 2020. Book War. Unfortunately libraries like rpi.gpio internally have some checks, which are basically saying if system is not Raspbian, stop. To be usable on other systems, they need to be refactored to use standard API. August 10, 2020. Emlyn. Vegin not compile or install to. August 9, 2020. Sophia. Hello. I use the Samsung EVO 256GB microSD XC-UHSIU3 100 MB per second Full HD and 4K UHD. It has never had any issues with speed. I have tried a lot of distros for my RPI. I did not like the speed that the SanDisk was giving me, and I had a few that had issues. I am happy Fedora has a Pi version, as it is the only distro that I use daily at work and at home. I am also the only support tech where I work that uses Linux. It is by choice also. Just my 2 cents, Mississippi McKnight. August 10, 2020. Calvato. Hi everybody, has anybody ever got Fedora running on a Raspberry Pi 4? August 10, 2020. Van. Not ready yet. CentOS 7.8/Debian 10/Ubuntu 20.04/Arch Linux Raspberry OS now works on Raspberry 4. August 11, 2020. Calvato. Okay, thank you Van. August 13, 2020. Imblaze. Actually, while it's not officially supported, Fedora 32 runs perfectly well on my 4GB Raspberry Pi 4 with Mate. GNOME also worked, but it's a bit resource-consuming. Start with the minimal Arch 64 image, then customize it up as you see fit. August 13, 2020. Arjan Hulsbos. I've had a number of microSD cards go bad in a relative quick time, so I looked at getting THPi to run from a USB stick. You cannot completely do away with the microSD, as it really is needed in the first boot stage, but you can run your file systems, including /dev, /etc., and /spin from the USB stick. I noticed one odd thing, some Pi do need /boot on the microSD, others are happy with /boot on the USB, don't know why, and I haven't looked into it, I must say. It's fairly easy to do. It requires editing a few files and assigning new UUIDs to a few partitions. All can be found on Google Slightly Smiling Face. August 11, 2020. Siang. Boot from USB without SD card is possible. https://www.raspberrypi.org/forums/vutapic.t=75784. August 12, 2020. https://coca-cola-foundation-ind.org. Spot on with tis write up. I absolutely beeve tis website Nima more attention. I'll probably be returning TC more, thank FR the information. August 22, 2020. Comments are closed. Fedora 32 is available now. Read the release announcement for all the details. Subscribe to Fedora magazine via email. Join 7,167 other subscribers. Subscribe. Contribute to the magazine. Fedora magazine is looking for contributors. Propose a new article. Become a writer. Become an editor. The opinions expressed on this website are those of each author, not of the author's employer or of Red Hat. Fedora magazine aspires to publish all content under a Creative Commons license, but may not be able to do so in all cases. You are responsible for ensuring that you have the necessary permission to reuse any work on this site. The Fedora logo is a trademark of Red Hat Incorporated terms and conditions.